My wife came home from a girls' weekend with a sunburn, a new necklace, and a receipt signed by a man named Evan. At first I told myself it could have been anything. A waiter, a bartender, a dockhand, somebody at the little resort store who had handed her a bag and scribbled his name across the receipt because their printer was broken. That was the version I tried to believe for exactly 12 seconds. Then I looked at the date. The receipt was from Friday night, 9:43 p.m. 2 dinners, 1 bottle of wine, a private cabin service charge, and a handwritten note at the bottom. "Hope you liked the view, Evan." My wife Claire was standing in our kitchen with one hand on the counter, telling me about how exhausted she was from 3 days of nothing but wine, hiking, and girls talking too much. She was smiling when she said it. Not the warm smile she used when our daughter Lily had done something funny. Not the tired smile she gave me after a long week at work. This smile was lighter, private, like it belonged to a memory I had not been part of. "Everything okay?" she asked. I folded the receipt once and put it on the kitchen counter. "You tell me," I said. Her eyes moved to the paper, and for 1 second, just one, Claire forgot to breathe. That was when I knew the receipt mattered. Not what it proved, not how far it went, but that it mattered. My name is Daniel Mercer. I was 39 years old that summer, living outside Columbus, Ohio, in a 2-story house with a cracked basketball hoop over the garage and a kitchen table that always had 1 school paper, 1 unopened bill, and at least 3 things Lily had forgotten to put away. I worked as a project manager for a commercial construction company. My job was mostly schedules, subcontractors, budgets, delays, and people saying a problem was under control when it absolutely was not. Claire worked in corporate recruiting for a healthcare network downtown. She was good at her job, confident, fast on her feet, the kind of person who remembered people's birthdays and could talk her way through a room full of strangers without looking like she was trying. We had been married 11 years. We had 1 daughter, Lily, who was 8 and had recently decided she wanted to become a marine biologist despite never seeing the ocean. I thought we were ordinary in the best possible way. I made coffee too strong. Claire bought plants and forgot to water half of them. Lily left glitter everywhere. Friday nights meant takeout, a movie none of us agreed on, and Claire falling asleep halfway through it with her feet under my leg. That was our life, or at least that was the life I thought I was living. The girls' weekend had been Claire's idea. Her college friends had supposedly planned a trip to a lake cabin in Michigan. 4 women, no husbands, no kids, no work calls, just wine, pontoon boats, bad food, and the kind of conversations women can't have when men are around. I had encouraged her to go. That part still bothers me. I helped her pack. I carried her overnight bag to the car. I kissed her goodbye in the driveway. I told Lily that Mom deserved a weekend off because she worked hard and took care of everyone. Claire leaned out of the driver's seat and said, "Don't let her stay up too late." Then she smiled at me. That same smile, the one I would later understand had nothing to do with me. Friday night, Lily and I made pancakes for dinner. She wanted blueberries shaped like a dolphin. I tried. What I made looked more like a bruised shoe, but she ate it anyway. We watched a nature documentary about whales. She fell asleep against my shoulder before the end. At 10:17 p.m., Claire sent me a photo. 4 wine glasses on a wooden table, a lake in the background, a sunset behind the trees. "Miss you both. Tell Lily I love her," I replied. "She's asleep. Hope you're having fun." Claire answered almost immediately. "I am. Wish you were here." At the time, I thought that message was sweet. Afterward, I would stare at it for a long time. Not because she wrote it, because she wrote it while sitting across from another man. The receipt was still on the counter. Claire looked at it again, then looked at me. "Where did you get that? It fell out of your tote bag." "I don't know what that is." "Claire," she crossed her arms, but it was too fast, defensive before I had even accused her. "I mean it." "I don't know, maybe one of the girls paid for something." "It says private cabin service." She blinked. Then she gave a small laugh, a weak one. "You're seriously doing this right now?" I remember feeling something shift in my chest. Not anger, not yet. A kind of cold disappointment. Because that was her first move. Not confusion, not concern, not, "Let me look at it." Her first move was to make me feel unreasonable, I'm asking a question, I said, and I'm telling you I don't know. You don't know who Evan is? Maybe he was the person working there. He wrote that you liked the view. She looked at the receipt one more time. Then she shrugged. A lot of people liked the view, Daniel. It was a lake. That answer should have sounded ridiculous. Instead, I almost accepted it. That is one of the things people do not understand unless they have been lied to by someone they love. You do not start by assuming the worst. You start by trying to save the person in your head. You build them exits. You give them explanations. You offer them every possible way to still be who you believed they were. Claire picked up the receipt and folded it into her palm. Then Lily came into the kitchen. She had changed into the oversized shark t-shirt she slept in, her hair sticking up on one side. "Mommy," she said, "did you bring me something?" Claire's whole face changed. She crouched down and pulled a small shell bracelet from her bag. "Of course I did." Lily held out her wrist. "It's pretty," she said. "It reminded me of you." I watched Claire clasp it around our daughter's arm. And I wondered how a person could hold two truths at once. How she could lie to me and still love Lily. How she could spend Friday night with someone named Evan and Saturday morning buy our daughter a bracelet from the same lake town. That night, Claire showered for a long time. When she came to bed, she smelled like the expensive body wash she only used on special occasions. She was wearing a satin sleep shirt I had bought her on our anniversary 2 years earlier. She reached for me. I moved away before I could stop myself. She froze. "Are you mad at me?" "No." That didn't sound like no. "I'm tired." She lay still for a moment. Then she said, "You know, I was really looking forward to coming home." I stared at the ceiling. I wanted to ask her if Evan had been looking forward to it too. I wanted to ask whether she had worn that sleep shirt at the cabin. I wanted to ask if the necklace around her neck had been bought with the private dinner. Instead, I said nothing, because I had learned something from my work. When a subcontractor tells you there is no problem before you have even shown him the report, there is always a problem. You do not scream, you document, you check dates, you find out what the story is hiding. The next morning, Claire took Lily to her friend's birthday party. I told them I had to catch up on work. That part was true, just not in the way they thought. I opened our shared laptop at the kitchen table. Claire had always been better with passwords than I was. She used different ones for work, banking, social media, and everything else. I did not try to enter her phone. I did not try to access her work accounts. I did not need to. A few years earlier, when we were planning a family trip, she had logged into an old photo sharing service on the laptop. It was still synced to her tablet, and the tablet had automatically backed up some of the pictures from the weekend. I found the sunset photo first, the one she had sent me Friday night. It was not taken at 10:17. It was taken at 7:04 p.m. The metadata did not lie. The photo had been taken more than 3 hours before she sent it. That could still mean nothing. People send old photos all the time. But then I found another image, a blurry shot of a dock at night. No faces, no bodies, just lights reflecting on dark water. It had been taken at 9:51 p.m., 8 minutes after the receipt. And in the corner, barely visible in the glass reflection, was a man's arm. He was wearing a dark blue long-sleeve shirt. His hand rested on the railing. Claire was standing close enough that I could see the edge of her hair against his shoulder. I did not zoom in right away. I just sat there. The refrigerator hummed. A truck went past outside. Somewhere down the street, a dog barked twice and stopped. Normal Saturday sounds. My life had always ended in dramatic moments in my imagination. A slammed door, a scream, a confession. But betrayal did not arrive like that. It arrived as a cropped image and a receipt on a kitchen counter. I printed the photo. Then I printed the receipt. Then I opened a notebook from the drawer where we kept school supplies. At the top of the page, I wrote, "Friday, lake weekend." Underneath it, 7:04 p.m. sunset photo taken. 9:43 p.m. dinner receipt signed Evan. 9:51 p.m. dock photo, male reflection. 10:17 p.m. sunset photo sent to me. I stared at the list. It looked clinical, like something from work. But I needed it to be clinical. Because if I let myself feel everything at once, I knew I would make a mistake. Claire had told me the trip was with 3 friends from college: Megan, Rachel, Tessa. I knew all of them. Megan had been in our wedding. Rachel had come to Lily's baby shower. Tessa lived in Chicago now, but she and Claire still spoke every few weeks. I decided I would not contact all three. Not yet. I chose Megan because she was the least likely to play along with a complicated lie. She was a nurse, practical, blunt, and usually too tired to invent stories for other people. I called her that afternoon. She answered on the third ring. "Daniel, everything okay?" "Yeah, sorry to bother you." "You're fine. What's up?" I watched the clock on the oven. 2:18 p.m. "Claire left her sunglasses at the lake cabin," I said. "She thought maybe you grabbed them by accident." There was a pause. Not long, but long enough. "What lake cabin?" I did not answer immediately. Megan said, "Daniel, Claire said you all went to Michigan this weekend." Another pause, then a quiet exhale. "Oh no." That was when the room changed. Not physically, but I felt it, like a floorboard giving way under your weight. "Megan," I said, "please don't call her." "I wasn't going to." "Did she tell you anything?" "She asked if I could cover for her if you ever asked." My throat tightened. "What exactly did she say?" Megan was quiet for a moment. Then she said she needed a weekend away. I thought she meant alone. I told her not to drag me into whatever she was doing. "Did you know about someone else?" "I didn't know for sure." "That isn't what I asked." "No," she said softly, "but I suspected." She told me Claire had started acting different about 6 months earlier. At first it was little things. New gym clothes that stayed hidden in the trunk of her car. A private phone call every Wednesday evening. Work dinners that never showed up on her company's public calendar. Then Claire had asked Megan to send a few pictures from an old girls' trip they had taken years ago. Megan thought it was strange but did not ask why. Later, she realized Claire had used parts of those old photos to build a fake weekend. "She had a whole plan," Megan said. "She told me not to worry because you trusted her." That sentence hurt more than I expected. Not because it was cruel, because it was true. I did trust her. "Do you know his name?" Megan did not answer. "Megan, I heard her mention Evan once." "Who is he?" "I don't know. She said he was a consultant she met through work." "A consultant for what?" "She never told me." "Daniel, I'm sorry." I believed her, not because she was innocent. She had still chosen silence, but because guilt has a different sound than deception. Megan sounded ashamed. Claire had sounded annoyed. After I got off the phone, I sat at the kitchen table for nearly an hour. Then Lily came home. She ran in holding a goodie bag full of candy and a plastic ring. "Dad, guess what? Mom said we can order pizza tonight." I looked at her. She was smiling. She had no idea that the shape of our family had changed while she was eating birthday cake. I smiled back. "Pizza sounds good." That night I ordered her favorite kind with extra cheese. Claire came downstairs dressed for dinner, wearing the new necklace. It was gold, thin, with a small green stone hanging from it. I had not seen it before the trip. "Pretty," Lily said. Claire touched it automatically. "Oh, thanks, honey. I found it in a little shop near the lake." Near the lake. The lake she had not visited with her friends. I looked at the necklace, then I looked at Claire, and for the first time she seemed to realize I was looking too closely. "What?" she asked. "Nothing. You keep saying that. Maybe I'm tired." Claire put a slice of pizza on Lily's plate. "You know you can talk to me, right?" There was something almost insulting about it, the way she said it, like she was offering me honesty while hiding an entire person behind her teeth. "I know," I said. She nodded, but she did not meet my eyes. Over the next 4 days, I became someone I did not recognize. I went to work. I ran meetings. I reviewed site plans. I answered emails. I helped Lily with her reading homework. Then, after everyone went to sleep, I checked facts. I looked up the lake resort from the receipt. It was called Pine Harbor Lodge, a small place on the edge of a lake in northern Michigan. Cabins, boat rentals, private dinner packages. The website had a gallery. One photo showed the view from cabin 12. I compared it to Claire's sunset picture. Same railing, same cluster of birch trees, same angle of water. Cabin 12. I called the lodge the next afternoon from my office parking lot. I did not pretend to be someone else. I did not demand private information. I simply asked for the manager. When a woman came on the line, I said, My wife stayed at your property last weekend. I think there may have been a billing mistake on a receipt she brought home. The manager said she could confirm only general booking information. That was enough. Was cabin 12 booked Friday through Sunday? Yes. Was it under Claire Mercer? A pause. No, sir. My hands tightened around the phone. Was it under Evan? Another pause. I'm sorry. I can't discuss guest names. I closed my eyes. That was confirmation enough. Can you tell me whether the guest who booked it stayed the full weekend? I'm sorry. I can't. Please. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm trying to understand whether my wife was where she said she was. The manager's voice softened. I can tell you that there were 2 adults listed on the reservation. 2 adults, not 4 women, not a girls' weekend, 2 adults. I sat in my truck for a long time after that call. I watched people walk in and out of a grocery store across the road. A man carried a bag of charcoal, a woman pushed a stroller, a teenage boy stood outside a coffee shop looking at his phone. I thought about Claire packing for the trip, the way she had chosen clothes carefully, the black swimsuit she had not worn around me in years, the white linen shirt she said was just for the lake, the new perfume she had bought 2 weeks earlier and claimed she was trying because it was on sale. All of it had been preparation. Not one spontaneous mistake, not one moment of weakness. Preparation. That night, I noticed Claire moving her phone farther away whenever I entered a room. She did not hide it dramatically. That would have been easier. She just placed it face down, took it into the bathroom, kept it under the couch cushion. Once, when Lily asked to borrow it to take pictures of the cat, Claire said no so quickly that Lily looked hurt. Mom, it's just the cat. I know, baby. My battery is low. Her battery was at 81%. I saw it when the screen lit up. I did not confront her, not because I was weak, because I still did not know the full shape of the lie, and because every time I thought about exploding, I saw Lily's bracelet, the shell bracelet from the lake, the little gift bought after Claire had spent the night with Evan. I needed to know what kind of life Claire was willing to build around our daughter's innocence. On Thursday, I called a family attorney. Her name was Marissa Cole. She came recommended by a colleague who had gone through a difficult divorce 2 years earlier. I told her only what I knew. The false trip, the receipt, the cabin, the photographs, the name Evan. She did not tell me what would happen in court. She did not promise me the house, custody, or some perfect outcome. She said something much more useful. Do not make assumptions. Do not access private accounts. Do not publish anything. Preserve what is already lawfully available to you. Keep communication calm, and if there is a child involved, make every decision with that child's stability in mind. That was the first thing anyone had said all week that made me feel less lost. I started sleeping in the guest room the next night. Claire noticed. Are you sick? No. Then why are you sleeping in there? I need space. Her expression hardened. From what? I looked at her for a moment. Then I said, from pretending I don't notice things. She went pale. Just a little, then she recovered. What things? You tell me. Daniel, I have no idea what you think you know. Then we'll talk when you do. I walked past her. She followed me halfway down the hall. Is this about the receipt? I stopped. Yes. It was nothing. Then why did Megan say she wasn't there? Claire did not speak. The house was quiet. Lily was asleep upstairs. The dryer was running in the laundry room. Somewhere in the neighborhood, someone started a lawnmower even though it was almost dark. Claire put one hand against the wall. You called Megan? I asked about your weekend. She had no right to say anything. That was her answer. Not, she's lying. Not, you misunderstood. She had no right. Who is Evan? Claire looked down at the floor. Then she whispered, it's complicated. No, it's a name on a receipt. You don't understand. You are right, I said. I don't. She sat on the edge of the stairs. For a second she looked smaller than I had ever seen her. I met him through work, she said. When? Last fall. How long have you been sleeping with him? Her head snapped up. Daniel, that was not the question. Since January, she said. The answer landed quietly. No dramatic sound, no broken glass, just a date. January, 7 months. 7 months of dinners, messages, work trips, fake late meetings, and mornings when she kissed Lily goodbye before going to see another man. How often? Claire covered her face. I don't know. You know, not every week. That wasn't my question. She started crying. I felt nothing when I saw it. That scared me more than anger would have. Sometimes twice a month, she said. Sometimes more. Where? Hotels, his apartment. Sometimes when he traveled. The lake cabin. Yes. Was that the first time? No. I nodded. I remember nodding because I needed to do something with my body. Did you sleep with him in our house? She did not answer. I looked at her. Claire, one time, she whispered. I did not yell. I did not hit a wall. I did not call her names. I walked into the kitchen, filled a glass with water, and drank half of it without feeling the temperature. Then I stood at the sink with both hands on the counter. The house. Our house. The place where Lily learned to walk. The place where Claire and I had painted the nursery pale yellow because we did not know if we were having a boy or a girl. The place where I had held her after her father died, one time, as if numbers made betrayal smaller. Who is he? I asked. Evan Cole. Is he married? Claire did not answer. I turned around. Is he married? Yes. Does his wife know? No. Does she have children? Yes. How many? 2. I nodded again. Then I asked the question I had not wanted to ask. Did he tell you he was leaving her? Claire's face changed. That was all the answer I needed. He said things were bad, she whispered. He said they had been bad for years, and you believed him. I don't know what I believed. No, I said. You knew exactly what you wanted to believe. She started to say my name. I held up my hand. Don't. I need you to understand something. I'm not asking because I want details that will destroy me. I'm asking because you have been feeding me lies for months, and I'm done letting you decide what reality is. Claire cried harder then, but she answered. She told me Evan was a regional consultant who had worked with her recruiting department during a restructuring project. He was 44, married, lived in Indianapolis, traveled frequently. They started texting after meetings. At first it was work, then jokes, then complaints about spouses, then long phone calls after midnight, then a conference in Louisville, then a hotel bar, then a room she said she had entered only to talk. I stopped her there. Do not give me the version that makes you feel less responsible. She looked at me, and for the first time that night, she stopped crying. I wanted him, she said. That was honest. It was also the worst thing she could have said. She told me Evan made her feel noticed. He remembered little things, the kind of wine she liked, her favorite song from college, the fact that she hated cilantro, the story of how she had once wanted to move to Seattle. I listened, and all I could think was, he had time to remember those things because he did not have to raise a child with her. He did not have to handle the leaking dishwasher. He did not have to sit in the emergency room when Lily split her chin open on a playground slide. He did not have to look at a budget and decide whether we could afford a vacation. He got the edited version of my wife, the version who arrived in a dress she did not wear at home, carrying no laundry, no bills, no school forms, no exhaustion, and Claire had let him have that version. What did you tell him about me? I asked. Nothing terrible. That wasn't my question. She wiped her face. I said we had grown apart. Did you tell him I was a bad husband? No. Did you tell him you were unhappy? Yes. Were you? She stared at me for a long time. Then she said, I think I became unhappy because I wanted an excuse. That was the closest thing to accountability she gave me. It was not enough, but it was real. Where is the necklace from? I asked. Claire touched it. Her fingers trembled. He bought it. At the lake? Yes. Why? It was our 6-month anniversary. I laughed once, not because it was funny, because my body did not know what else to do. 6 months, while I had been helping Lily make Mother's Day cards, while I had been planning our anniversary dinner, while Claire had been telling me she was too tired for intimacy, too stressed for dates, too busy to talk. She had been celebrating an anniversary with another man. Take it off, I said. She looked at me. Daniel, take it off. She removed the necklace slowly. I did not touch it. I did not throw it. I pointed to the kitchen counter. Put it there. She did. The small green stone caught the light. For months, she had worn it around our daughter, at dinners, at school pickup, in family pictures. A gift from a man whose existence she had hidden behind a fake girls' weekend. You need to pack a bag, I said. Claire stood up too fast. You're kicking me out? I'm asking you to leave for now. This is my house too, I know. And I am not stopping you from speaking to a lawyer. But tonight, I need space in my own home. What about Lily? You will tell her you're staying with Megan for a few days because we need to work through adult problems. You will not tell her details. You will not make her choose. You will not ask her to keep secrets. Claire looked wounded. You think I would do that? I looked at the receipt, then the necklace, then back at her. I don't know what you would do anymore. She packed one suitcase, not much, a few outfits, toiletries, her laptop, a framed photo of Lily that she took from the dresser. She left her wedding ring on the bathroom counter. I did not ask her to. I did not stop her. At the front door, she turned around. Are you going to tell Evan's wife? I looked at her. Do you think she deserves to know? Claire closed her eyes. Yes. Then why didn't you tell her? She had no answer. After she left, I locked the door. Then I stood in the foyer for a long time. The house felt unfamiliar, not empty, wrong, like every room had been shifted a few inches to the left. The next morning, Lily came downstairs carrying her backpack. Where's Mom? She's staying with Aunt Megan for a few days. Why? Sometimes adults need quiet time to work things out. Did you have a fight? I looked at my daughter. Her eyes were too observant. She got that from Claire. We're having a hard time, I said, but none of it is because of you. Lily nodded slowly. Then she asked, Is Mom coming back? I don't know yet. That was the first honest answer I had given anyone in days. I waited 2 days before contacting Evan's wife, not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted to be certain. I had Claire's confession, I had the receipt, I had the resort confirmation, I had the timeline. But I also knew what it felt like to have your life changed by one piece of information. I did not want to do that to another person carelessly. I found her name through public information connected to Evan's consulting firm. Her name was Nora. I wrote a message, then deleted it, wrote another, deleted that too. Finally, I sent this. My name is Daniel Mercer. I believe our spouses have been involved in a relationship. I have information that may affect you. I am not contacting you to cause pain. I think you deserve the ability to make informed decisions. If you wish to speak, I will share only what I can document. She replied 23 minutes later. Call me. Nora answered on the first ring. Her voice was controlled, too controlled, like she had been holding herself together for years. Tell me, she said. I did. I did not give her private details that served no purpose. I gave her dates, the cabin, the receipt, the necklace, Claire's admission. When I finished, Nora did not cry. She said, How long? Claire said, Since January. Nora went quiet. Then she said, That's not the first time. I sat down. What do you mean? Evan has had affairs before. She told me she had discovered one 3 years earlier, then another the year after that. Each time, Evan promised therapy, transparency, a fresh start. Each time, he found a new woman through work travel, consulting contracts, conferences, or professional networking. He likes women who think they are the exception, Nora said. The sentence stayed with me, not because it made Claire innocent. It did not. But it showed me Evan's role more clearly. He was not some irresistible stranger who had swept her into a mistake. He was practiced. He had routines, scripts, promises. He learned what women were lonely about and repeated the right words until they mistook attention for a future. Did he tell Claire he was leaving you? I asked. Yes. Was that ever true? No. Does he have other women now? Nora sighed. I don't know, but I found a hotel charge last month in Nashville. He said it was a client dinner. I thought about the lake, the private cabin, the handwritten note, how easily Evan had signed his name, not because he was careless, because he was confident Claire would hide it. Nora and I agreed on one thing. We would not contact employers, co-workers, friends, or social media. Not yet. Not out of fear. Out of discipline. She had children too, a 12-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. I had Lily. None of them deserved to become collateral for adults who had lied. Claire came back 3 days later to see Lily. She arrived in the afternoon, looking tired and smaller somehow. No necklace, no ring, no makeup. Lily ran to her anyway. Mom. Claire dropped to her knees and held her tight. I looked away. Not because I wanted to punish her, because grief is complicated. Watching my daughter love her mother did not make Claire less guilty. It just made the world less simple. After Lily went upstairs to show Claire a drawing, I asked Claire to sit at the kitchen table. I spoke to Nora. Claire's face went white. You told her? I gave her information she needed. She's going to destroy him. No, I said. He did that himself. Claire gripped the edge of the table. He told me they were basically separated. I know. How do you know? Because he told other women the same thing. Claire looked up. What? Nora believes there have been others. She shook her head. No, Evan wouldn't. I almost interrupted her. Then I stopped, because that was the moment she finally felt a fraction of what I had felt. The ground under her story moving, the person she had defended in her mind becoming someone else. He loved me, she said quietly. I looked at her. Maybe he cared about you in the way people care about things they use. That is not the same as love. Tears filled her eyes. He showed me messages. He said he was looking at apartments. Did you ever see one? No. Did he introduce you to anyone in his life? No. Did he spend holidays with you? No. Did he answer when you called late at night? Claire looked down. No. There it was. Not a romance. A compartment. A hidden room in Evan's life, where Claire was allowed to exist only when it was convenient for him. That did not make me feel better. I did not want Claire humiliated. I wanted her to understand. There is a difference. She had destroyed something real for something that had never been offered honestly. What happens now? She asked. I don't know yet. Do you want a divorce? I want a life where I don't have to check whether every sentence you say is a lie. I can fix this. You cannot fix it by promising harder, she cried quietly. Then she said, I blocked him. That is not the finish line, Claire. That is the first responsible thing you have done in months. Over the next few weeks we moved carefully. Claire rented a small apartment near her office. We created a predictable schedule for Lily. No surprise visits, no arguments in front of her, no using her to pass messages. I communicated with Claire mostly by text and email, because I needed things clear, not cold, clear. She began individual therapy. I did too. Not because I thought therapy would save the marriage, because I needed somewhere to put the anger that was showing up in strange places. At work, in the grocery store, when I saw couples laughing at restaurants, when Lily asked me to help her make a card for Claire's birthday. One night, Lily sat beside me on the couch while I was sorting laundry. Dad? Yeah? Did Mom do something bad? The shirt in my hands was one of Claire's old college shirts. I had not noticed it was mixed in with mine. I folded it slowly. Mom made choices that hurt our family, I said. Did she hurt you? Yes. Are you mad? Sometimes. Do you still love her? I looked at my daughter. You can love someone and still know they cannot live in your life the same way. Lily thought about that. Then she leaned against me. I still love her. I know, I said. You're allowed to. That was the moment I understood something important. Claire's betrayal was not Lily's burden to carry. I was not going to turn my daughter's love for her mother into proof that I should forgive something I could not forgive. And I was not going to make Lily feel disloyal for missing her. Adults created the damage. Adults had to carry it. 2 months after the lake weekend, I met Nora for coffee. Not secretly, not romantically, not in some dramatic hidden place. A coffee shop halfway between Columbus and Indianapolis, off a highway exit where people stopped for gas and never remembered the name of the town. Nora looked tired, but steady. She had filed for separation. Evan had moved into a furnished apartment near his office. According to Nora, he had sent Claire a long message after she blocked him. He claimed I had manipulated her, claimed Nora was unstable, claimed everyone was overreacting. The same pattern. Deny. Divide. Reframe. Did Claire answer? I asked. No, Nora said. I nodded. That mattered. Not enough to repair anything between Claire and me, but it mattered. Nora stirred her coffee. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think they loved each other? I thought about it. The lake cabin, the fake girls' weekend, the necklace, the 6-month anniversary, the messages Claire had hidden. Then I thought about Evan's other affairs, the lies he had told Nora, the apartments he never rented, the future he never intended to build. I think they loved the version of themselves they became when nobody asked them to be accountable, I said. Nora looked at me. Then she nodded slowly. That sounds right. In November, Claire and I sat in a mediator's office. Outside, the trees had gone bare. The room had soft gray chairs, a bowl of mints on the table, and framed pictures of peaceful landscapes that felt almost insulting. We discussed schedules, finances, the house, school pickups, holidays. Not once did anyone say the word Evan. He had become irrelevant in the practical parts of our life. That felt strange after how large he had once seemed, but that was the truth. He had been a hidden fire. He had burned things down. Then, when the smoke cleared, the work was not about him. It was about what remained. Claire asked to speak to me alone after the meeting. We stood in the parking lot beside our cars. The air smelled like rain. I need to say something, she said. You can say it. I know sorry isn't enough. No, I said, it isn't. I don't expect you to forgive me. Good. She nodded. I just need you to know I understand now that I did not just have an affair. I made you question your own life. I made Lily's home unstable. I made you carry the consequences of choices I made alone. I listened. She kept going. I thought I was escaping something, but I was avoiding myself. For a moment I believed she meant it. That did not change my decision, but I believed it. I hope you keep doing the work, I said. I will, for Lily, and for me. I nodded. Then I got into my truck. There was no final speech, no perfect revenge, no moment where she understood every ounce of pain she caused. Real life does not hand you that. Sometimes all you get is a boundary that holds. 6 months after the receipt, Lily and I went to Lake Erie for a weekend. Not Michigan, not Pine Harbor Lodge, just a small hotel near the water with an indoor pool, a breakfast buffet, and a view of gray-blue waves under a cold spring sky. Lily wore her marine biologist t-shirt. She had a notebook full of facts about fish. At one point she stood near the railing and said, "Dad, look, the water goes forever." I stood beside her. The lake did not go forever. It only looked that way. I thought about the first photo Claire had sent from her weekend, the sunset she had used as proof of a lie. For months I could not look at any lake without feeling sick, but standing there beside Lily, I realized places do not belong to the worst thing that happened in them. A lake was still a lake, water was still water, a view was still a view. The meaning came from who stood beside you. Lily slipped her hand into mine. "Do you think Mom would like this place?" I looked out over the water. "Maybe," I said. "Could she come next time?" There was no anger in her voice, no test, just hope. I squeezed her hand. "Maybe someday we can all find a way to be in the same place peacefully." Lily nodded. That was enough for her. That night, after she fell asleep, I sat by the hotel window with a cup of bad coffee. My phone buzzed. A message from Claire. "Did Lily have fun?" I looked toward the bed where our daughter was sleeping. Then I typed. "She did. She found 3 different kinds of shells and explained all of them to me." Claire replied with a heart. Then, a minute later, "Tell her I'm proud of her." I did not answer immediately. Not because I wanted to punish Claire, because I was learning that I did not have to respond to every emotion the second it arrived. Eventually I wrote, "I will." I still have the receipt, not because I reread it, not because I need proof anymore. It sits in a folder with the documents from that time of my life. The resort confirmation, the printed photo, the notes I made when I was too shocked to trust my own memory. Sometimes I think about throwing it away. Maybe I will someday. But for now, it reminds me of something I almost forgot when my life broke apart. Trust is not stupidity. Love is not weakness. And being deceived does not mean you failed to see everything. It means someone you trusted worked hard to hide the truth. Claire made her choices. Evan made his. Nora made hers. And eventually I made mine. Not to destroy anyone. Not to win some imaginary war. Not to turn my daughter's mother into a villain in her eyes. I chose to stop living inside a story built from someone else's lies. I chose clarity. I chose boundaries. I chose the people who could still look me in the eye without asking me to doubt what I knew. And when I think back to that first night, the sunburn, the necklace, the receipt with a stranger's name on it, I do not remember the anger first. I remember the kitchen. The light over the stove, Claire's hand closing around that piece of paper, and the exact second I realized I had been given a choice. I could look away, or I could finally see. I chose to see, and that was where my new life began.
Yeah, yeah. Saw you stepping in, all eyes turning, heartbeat skips to your rhythm. Yeah. Daylight sliding through the window. Your laughing sets the speakers off. Coffee cooling on the table. We're tangled in playlists and plans. Your energy contagious, pushes worries out the door. This moment light and ordinary turns magic when you say my name. Can't fake this feeling, your spark pulls me up. Wanna run with you, never slow down. Every move is a message, every glance says now. Oh, let's catch the ride while the city's wide awake. Jump into rhythms only we can make. Turn up the track, reminders fade. We're living loud, don't need to